It's that time of year again. It's the time of year where I start to think about my new goals of 2020. It's the first video of 2020, actually. So welcome back. Hope you guys had a lovely Christmas and New Year. So today is the annual what are my goals for 2020 video. So I'm talking like a New Year's resolutions / bucket list sort of things I want to do. But this year, we're going to do it a little bit differently. So I've been making these videos every year for the past few years, and I've found them to be very useful. Laying out what I want to get done in a year has given me something to work towards, but I've also found that sometimes I add things onto the list just for the sake of filling up 10 spots, such as, and that is to go to Adventure World. Adventure World is like a water park, amusement park, fun park, whatever you want to call it. So this year I wanted to make my goals more worthwhile. I put a lot of thought into them, and I've shortened the list to 5 things in the hope that I can focus on them much more. So my 2020 goals, here we go. So number 1 is for me to figure out my next step after uni. Where do I want to go next? There's so many different avenues I can go down in my career, and I need to figure out what that is. I made a video a long time ago about, where I see myself going and what my plan is, and I still relate to that plan, but that's just the broad strokes of what I want to do. There's a lot of stuff that's in flux that is constantly changing about how I get to the end point of directing my first film in my career. Or first feature film, that is. I might try my hand in the field, or I might continue my studies somewhere else, get an internship somewhere. I don't know. There's a lot in flux. There's a lot of stuff to find out. Number 2 is to actually take a bit more time off this year, because I was working really hard last year and it was great and I got great results, and I still want to keep that effort going into my film and stuff like that. But I want to allow myself to have time off, and I think organizing like a weekend away so I can go on holiday and do a little travel or something just for a weekend, a little camping trip or something with friends or Nicole or something like that, I think will be really good and will allow myself to sort of refresh. And I think in 2019, I got so overwhelmed a lot of the time thinking I had so much work to do. But realistically, if I'd sort of planned accordingly and sort of scheduled that work at a different time or something like that, basically if I'd booked in a holiday or a week-long trip, a weekend trip in advance, then obviously I would have found a way to have worked around that trip. Number 3 is to finish uni with films that I'm proud of. I've already made 2 films that I'm proud of, but I just want to keep upping that quality of them, and I want to keep, writing and directing films. So I just think going into the field with a great portfolio of films that I'm so happy with will be great, and then great marks will hopefully come with that as well. Number 4 is to watch more movies, because it is a fact that I don't watch enough movies for a filmmaker. Quite often I find myself, making more videos like this than I do actually watching films. At the end of 2019, I did try and, get a bit more, watch a few more films. I watch quite a lot of TV, well, quite a lot. I watch a decent amount of TV, at least compared to films. But I do want to go back and watch a few classics that I've missed over the years. I'm pretty good at keeping up with what is currently at the cinemas and what's relevant at the cinemas right now, but it's just about going back and watching those older films, and also, missing the other films that have seeped through the cracks that I haven't been able to witness when they come out. Basically, you can learn a lot from watching films, and I want to learn as much as possible, and so watch as many films as possible. Number 5, bit of a goofy, gimmicky one. I want to read 15 plus books this year. Now, I read 12 last year, and 1 or 2 of them were quite short. I'm going to do a film on reading and stuff like that in the next few weeks. I just learn a lot from reading. I learn a lot about storytelling, because it's another form of storytelling, obviously. I mean, it's the most basic form of storytelling, and it's great. That's what I get from fiction books, but I read a lot of non-fiction, autobiographies, and self-help books, and that stuff helps me as a person, and as a filmmaker, and as a storyteller. But one thing I want to make sure is that I don't stress myself out about it, because sometimes when I set these sort of weird goals that might not necessarily advance me as a person in my career, but are just like a small thing that will help me along the way, I can still like overwhelm myself and get pretty stressed out about it. And that is what I don't want to have happen in 2020. So that's it. That was my goals / resolutions for 2020. Hope you guys, liked listening to them or something. I did it a bit differently this year, and hopefully that will help me going forward. I just really like making a video about them because it makes these goals more solid and a bit more real. Makes me feel like I actually have to achieve them because I have, people that are counting on me to do them. I mean, I'm sure people watching this don't actually care whether or not I do them, but it just makes it a bit more real for me. So, as always, thank you very much for watching this Greeny Productions video, and I'll see you in another one very, very soon. Goodbye.